Good morning. Welcome to the Crüe NFC Round Table. NFC AFC Final 4. Big week of games coming up today. I was kind of shocked the first game wasn't the AFC game as opposed to the NFC game, given the travel that you're going to see with the AFC or the NFC going basically across the country. But it is what it is. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
We're here.
Everybody is always so chipper, bright and early in the morning.
It's game day.
With me, I've got Brian Robinson, Eye Candy Andy, Jerry G, and the Angry Cowboy. All right. So, we're going to do things a little... Go ahead.
Just real quick to interject something. With the idea of having actually San Francisco having to fly all the way to Pennsylvania, that's just really one of the first excuses they're going to be able to actually use when they lose.
Didn't waste any time, did we? So we're going to do things a little different this week. We usually don't cover any AFC games or anything like that. But since we're down to 2 games, we're going to just do a little give or take with both of them. But before we get into that, Jerry, what are your thoughts on last week's game?
It was great. It was absolutely great. The same thing happened that I told everybody was going to happen. Stout got his hopes up, finally, and we had to watch him suffer.
And I never got my hopes up. You keep saying that, but I never did.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
We know deep down you were crying at night, hugging your pillow.
No.
You know what's crazy about that game is if Dak Prescott would have played like he did against the Buccaneers, it would have been a lot closer game. But the real difference in that game was the San Francisco defense. Isn't the Bucs defense? They were all over Dak Prescott that entire game. He had no time to even think. So I mean that was huge. And that's going to be huge going into today's matchup because we got 2 number ones. We got the number 1 offense in the league going against the number 1 defense. On the flip side of that, Philadelphia also has a high-ranking defense. I think they're number 2 in the league right now. So it should be a good, I don't want to say ground and pound old school football game, but God, I hope it is. So
one quick question there. So if San Francisco has the best defense, the Eagles have, second or third or whatever defense, and then the Eagles have one of the top offenses. Why is it that the Chiefs and the Bengals are favorites over the Eagles and the Niners in the Super Bowl?
Right now?
Yeah, like nobody's given the NFC a chance.
It comes down to quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion.
What's the argument for Jalen Hurts that everybody's saying deserves MVP?
Well, he's playing phenomenally, but are you going to take Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, this year he's outperformed him, yeah.
If Hurts doesn't get hurt, Hurts is the MVP.
100%. Without question.
So who's going to be the MVP?
Ooh,
Joe?
This year?
Whoever wins the Super Bowl, watch. Because I think that's how close it is between the 3 that are in there right now in the championship game. It'll be Mahomes, Burrow, or Hurts.
What about the 4th one?
He ain't gonna get MVP of the league. He might get Rookie of the Year, maybe.
Well, let's dive into that real quick. Because Brock Purdy, if Brock Purdy were to go from Mr. Irrelevant, if he gets, Rookie of the Year and League MVP all in his first season, that would be unprecedented. I mean,
anything that he's doing right now is unprecedented.
Well, very true.
3 seconds on the field.
Is he going to be another? What was the thing?
I know, Andy. He's not better than Justin Fields because
That is true.
Fields is the greatest man to walk the earth. I get it.
Partially, yes. See, now you're probably talking offense here, instead of course, Mr. Purdy Mouth out there who's probably going to end up getting just hammered today. But
who's the Patriots quarterback that backed up Tom Brady that went on to have like multi-million-dollar contracts? I can't think of his name. Is it Matt Flynn? For some reason, that's what comes to mind, but I don't think that's right.
I think it was Matt Flynn, actually. Or Mike.
Jimmy
went out
G.
to Arizona or something.
I think his name is Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, I really wasn't. I was thinking it was Matt Flynn. Jimmy G actually has been a good quarterback in the league when he's not on the cart or on the table or in the ice bucket or on the sideline or in the shower or so when he's on the field, if you break down his contract, Jimmy Garoppolo is making, what is it, $12 million a game right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's unheard of because he's barely playing anymore.
Yeah, and
he's going to land a big payday this year.
Which league are you talking about that he's having all the success? Professional darts?
He is the reason for the nickname. I mean, they are the 47ers for a reason. He did get them to the Super Bowl. He had them close to winning it and fell.
That's for receivers, not quarterbacks. We are
2 yards short. But so who do you guys got this week? Let's go into your picks. Give me a reason why, and we'll go into almost like a debate, give or take, of each game. And if we have time, we'll get into the draft for us teams that aren't playing. Jerry, shut up. And then we'll go forward.
The draft. No football today.
So, Jerry, we know you got the Niners. We know you got the Niners winning today.
Yeah.
Who do you got in the AFC?
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
You got a reason for that, or just because you like their colorful striped uniforms that remind you of breakfast every morning?
No, I can't stand Kansas City. And recent history, Burrow has their number. So we're not talking about the Bucks. Go away. Jesus.
Get out of here.
We're talking about active football. The Bucks are out.
Anyway, it was a comment that came up. I had to share it. You got to give them their time. So, so you just don't like Mahomes. That's why you're going Bengals?
Well, and the Bengals have had their number the last 3 meetings.
7 of 8.
Oh, okay, 7 of 8.
Yeah, 7 of the last 8 they've beaten the Chiefs, which is insane.
So I'd like to actually interject a quick little point here if I could. So are you talking about, first off, Kansas City, the town? Or are you talking about the actual – and first off, I will have to say, I don't know if any of you are on TikTok or anything like that, but I threw out passing and stuff like that. Who's Patrick Mahomes' #1 fan?
Himself?
Mr. San Francisco over here. I seen your little avatar on him. I seen it. Mm-hmm. Doing little dances and stuff like that. All the little dances that Mahomes does, or his brother. All those little cheesy little dances. I've seen the whole thing. I think you're actually a little bit off, because one of the things that I think Cincinnati is going to be able to do in regards to that is actually keep, you have the Bengals, who may actually come in and actually pull something out like they usually do, 3-0 in the last 3 meetings. But 7. You might 7, whichever. However, I think Kansas City got a little something for you. So you keep it to Cincinnati, and I think when we actually get into the breakdown of Cincinnati, how Cincinnati is going to end up losing to the Chiefs, we'll actually understand what we're talking about.
So, Andy, who you got in the NFC?
Can we do that now?
How about who you got in the NFC?
Bears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stout. Being from the NFC East, you got to be going for the Eagles today, right?
You would think, but yeah, I am. I picked them in the beginning to win the Super Bowl, so I just it didn't matter who it was. I think they're going through whoever is there, but and then in the AFC, I'm taking the Bengals, but I know why Jerry wants the Bengals and Niners, just so he can we can relive the old 80s, hoping that the 49ers would relive, but They ain't gonna make it. So I mean,
Really?
I do. The Eagles are gonna win. I picked San Francisco to win last week.
Are you really going to come at me with an age date dig?
Yeah.
You're going to come at me that I'm living in the past?
Yeah, you are.
Brock Purdy has as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott.
Listen to me. Basically, all of us are living in the past, but Sidorus, he's the closest one at a Super Bowl. So you're just as bad as we are. You make it there and you lose. I'd rather whatever. That's worse than just not, whatever.
Brian,
so
who do you got today?
No, we're not changing this up. Just go away. How do you meet all?
Brian, who do you got today?
All right. Well, we'll start I'm going to start with the AFC. I think the Bengals are going to pull it off again. And I don't know. There's a couple reasons. I think the Bengals are just on this roll. Like they're playing with like this mantra of like everybody forgets about them. So they're going to continue to show that they're that good. Mahomes and company isn't going to beat them again. That's their mantra. But I think now they say Mahomes is good to go. He's off the injury report. I don't know. I find that hard to believe until he gets in the game action, takes the first couple hits. You got to see how he pops up. And
he'll be so shot up. He can do anything.
Well, yeah. I know.
But he was limping walking into the stadium today.
I mean, you guys did say something about Kelsey has got some back spasms going on.
Yeah, he hit the injury report Friday with back spasms after practice.
So, I mean, that's two key people. Like I said, Bengals have been on a roll. I think weather might play a little bit of a factor. It's going to be cold as hell in Kansas City today. I think 14 degrees for kickoff. So that could be a determining factor in this game too. But I think it'll be close, but I think the Bengals will pull it out. NFC, I'm going Eagles. I think this is the Brock Purdy game where he shows the rookie mistakes. That's basically it.
Well, speaking of showing rookie mistakes, what's good about San Francisco's offense is it covers a lot. It's like a whole caboodle full of makeup for Brock Purdy. It don't matter what quarterback they have in that offensive scheme. You've got, like the Atlanta Falcons have one Swiss Army knife, right? He does everything for that offense. Cordero Patterson. In New Orleans, you've got who? Taysom Hill. Utility knife, does everything for that offense. In San Francisco, you've got Deebo Samuel. You've got Christian McCaffrey now. Christian McCaffrey is on a tear lately. It looks like he's been on vacation in Carolina for 3 years and decided to come play ball in San Francisco. But I got San Francisco winning that game. And I hate the fact that Jerry's going to the Super Bowl, and I hate that he's going to live right down the road from me. I'm going to have to hear it. I might have to go stake a flag in his yard like I did his old man's. But still, I got to go with the Niners winning that game. And then go ahead.
No, I mean the refs. If that happens, it's because the refs, let uncovered people go out, cover people go out for passes, and it's okay. All right, I'm done.
You got the Cowboy Rolodex of excuses going over there. What's going on?
Yeah.
No, but
he acts like he doesn't care, but you can just see it just eating him up.
And then the Cincy game, Kansas City. Despite my hatred for Patrick Mahomes, it's not that I hate him. It's just that I can't stand that he's as good as he is. It looks effortless, but despite my hatred for him, despite my feelings that Pacheco's going to have a big game, I got Cincy winning that game as well. And I'm hoping they do because we have some Hobart ties to Cincinnati with Karras playing center, his dad playing for Hobart. So going with Cincy that game. But let's get into the actual game itself. We'll break down our thoughts on the games. Before we do that, let's kick it to Let's Talk Sports, who you can watch us with. And we should be on the Super Bowl Sunday coverage, working out the deals with that. But let's give them their due.
The Crüe NFC Round Table is proud to partner with the Let's Talk Sports Network, available on YouTube, Roku, and Amazon.
All right, we'll go AFC first. We're going to divide into two teams, basically. We'll have two people debating, arguing, point, counterpoint, whatever you want to call it. For this, we're going to have me and Andy taking the Chiefs. Am I right? Is that what we decided on? I'm drawing a blank, and I think Jerry and Stout are going to agree on Cincinnati.
No, we disagree that we don't like Mahomes.
Let's get into the prequel. All right. Well, this is unrehearsed, so it's all coming to you live. So if it's choppy, we apologize. Brian, you're going to basically make sure that it doesn't go too long, make sure that no one's screaming at each other. We shouldn't have a problem since the two arch enemies are there in the bottom. They're on the same side. So
I can always have Aaron ready to shh somebody.
Yeah, there you go.
That's about all.
All
right.
Bengals, Chiefs. You guys want to take it away first, or would you like me to go first with one of my basic keys for the Chiefs winning, or you guys can go?
Go ahead.
All right.
Hear your nonsense.
My big
pay the refs.
My big key for this game is Chris Jones. Going against the Bengals prior, he had 2 sacks. That was Week 17 last year. The game didn't end in their favor, but now you're going against a depleted offensive line with Alex Kappa being out and what is his name?
Yeah, 3 guys are.
Jonah Williams being out. So they've already cycling through some second-string offensive linemen. I think Chris Jones is having a dominant performance today. Six QB rushes. Looking at 2 sacks again, I don't see that offensive line holding up well against a man basically up for Defensive Player of the Year in Chris Jones.
That's it? That's all you got?
For right now.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. So he gets 2 sacks, but whoop-de-doo. I mean,
you got
Kansas City can't stop nothing. I mean, they legit can't stop nothing. Cincinnati is on a roll. You don't stop that. They look like they're poised to do whatever it has to be done to win a football game. And yeah, they got some injuries, but they've had the injuries for what? Since the start of the playoffs. I mean, and they've gone up against – they went up against the Bills that had a good defensive line too. So, I mean, they looked pretty good then. So, again, what's your point again?
So
the Bengals are coming into the game with a chip on their shoulder because they're mad about this whole, coin flip, home field debacle that went on. They're the ones that got kind of shafted the most with not even an opportunity to get the number 1 seed, which they did going into the game. That got canceled. So they're playing with this chip on their shoulder of, we have to travel now because of the technicality.
I mean, they're all professional athletes. Travel, I don't think is going to be that big of a deal coming into this. Yeah, the Chiefs have a home field advantage like no other, and I'm glad you pointed that out as part of our, building a case for the win for the Chiefs. So yeah, I mean, that's huge for us.
You're going to go into Burrowhead. Are they going to have the cheeseburgers on standby for Andy Reid? Because that's a difference maker on the sideline.
Hey, the man can coach.
Man can eat.
So as far as my opinion, as far as the Kansas City Chiefs pulling out the victory, of course, is you have key injuries on Kansas City, which I don't think are going to necessarily be a key at all. So you have, of course, Patrick Mahomes with a little bit of a sprain, no big deal. Travis Kelsey, of course, with his back spasms and things like that. But after they get treatment, everything will be.
Hydrocortisone.
No, it's just ice and maybe a little TENS unit, maybe a little bit.
Hydrocortisone. That stuff is amazing.
I think Shaq sells like a pad that you can put on there.
Yeah, on your back.
Salon pause, but yeah, no, you have those guys, those players right there. Along there, of course, you bring in Pacheco at running back. I have a feeling that the defense is going to be a little bit kind of on their heels a little bit. You're going to have Patrick Mahomes, doing Patrick Mahomesian things. The reason why their defense doesn't necessarily have to actually stop anybody. They just have to slow them down. They just have to score more. That's all. So that's why I think Kansas City is going to end up pulling it out. They got a chip on their shoulder because they've lost so many games over the past. Maybe give Joe Burrow a moment of pause, and they go out to the championship where they play Philadelphia. You watch.
What's going to be huge in this game is play action pass, I think, for Kansas City. When you have a running back that's averaging 4.8 yards a carry going into the game, I mean, that's something the defense has to take into consideration. You got 3 receivers averaging more than 12 yards a catch. I mean, that's huge. Kansas City is going to run well with the play action against this over-aggressive Cincinnati defense who has a suspect corner in Eli Apple.
Yeah, and you have, 2 of those wide receivers that are questionable, and then just add Kelsey into being questionable. It's going to be cold out. They're going to take a hit. And we all know how it feels when you're already hurt and it's that cold and you take a hit.
They're not going to take a hit because nobody touches Mahomes and nobody touches Kelsey. That's the way to beat Kelsey is you have to jam him on the line. Nobody touches the guy.
I'm talking after he catches it.
And let's not get into stats because the Chiefs haven't played a single damn game all year.
So there should be well
Who have
rested.
they played that is a great team?
I count 15 wins.
Who have they played that is a great team this year?
I don't care if they're playing Bozo Buckets. You win 15 times. That's pretty damn impressive.
But when you haven't played anybody and now you're going to go up against somebody and get smacked in the mouth, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. Look, they played the Raiders twice. Okay? They played the Rams. They played the Texans, the Seahawks, the Broncos twice. I mean,
you can't penalize them for their schedule.
But you talk about it all the time.
The NFC South and claiming that you're great.
Yeah.
I never claimed we were great.
Oh, wait. You went 500. Okay, sorry.
No, we didn't, but thank you.
You're the one that brings up all the time about strength of schedule, all this stuff. And then now it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does.
You're in the playoffs right now. It definitely doesn't matter.
No, he's not in the playoffs. Who haven't they beaten in the playoffs? The Bengals.
They'll play them today.
And they're going to lose. That's the whole point. Like, I just can't believe that you think Kansas City is going to pull this out. Like, everything that's been going on, you don't think Cincinnati has more of an edge to win this game with everything that's going on.
They're a 1-point favorite at home.
I don't see it. And I understand traveling there to Kansas City is probably one of the hardest stadiums to play at. But the Bengals have already been there. So it doesn't seem to bother them too much. Were they 7 of 8? You said
yes.
7 of 8? Yeah, 7 of 8. Yes, so I mean, we could just stop it right there, 7 of 8. I mean,
you're gonna walk in too cocky. Next thing you know, you're gonna get punched in the mouth, and you're down by 2 touchdowns.
No, that's a Bears game that you're thinking of.
So,
no, it'd be way more than 2 touchdowns.
True.
The numbers on the game, I'm not going to lie to you, go to Cincinnati's favor. Cincinnati has a turnover ratio of +6, while Kansas City has a turnover ratio of -3. Patrick Mahomes is coming off an injury. However, he played well the second half of that game. He didn't play terribly, but he didn't play Patrick Mahomes-esque.
Because they went all varsity blues in the locker room at halftime.
Oh, had a nice little, pep up speech. I agree.
No.
So-
Even with the knee big, and they're like, just
So my question to you is this: What are your keys for a victory? What does Kansas City or what does Cincinnati have to do to take another one in Arrowhead Stadium today?
Follow the blueprint, what they've done in the past. It's pretty simple. Andy's not going to change. They're not going to change anything in Kansas City. They're not. One thing about Andy Reid is that he doesn't change that much. He doesn't change how he calls, how they run the team. It stays the same. And you're 7 of 8 against them. Why would you change anything? Why? Why would you change everything that you've done to beat them so far? Why would you change anything? I mean, legit. Why would you change?
Well, why would you assume that they wouldn't change? Because of that exact fact. They've actually lost.
It's Andy Reid. I love Andy Reid. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a hell of a coach. He's one of the greatest coaches. I mean, but he doesn't change, and that's his downfall.
See, I know you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Look, he's not as good as Mike McCarthy, but what ends up happening is I have a feeling that he is going to at least pull out a few things that you're not going to see before. You're going to get, Joe Burrow's going to get happy feet after getting hit 4 or 5 times. Although Joe Burrow is a pretty tough kid, I still think as though Cincinnati, which I actually picked, but I think they're going to end up faltering.
Oh, so wait, you're on the Bengals too?
So,
hey, we need to have some sort of banter because you guys are.
So you're just bringing up points
San
you don't
Francisco
believe.
49er fan.
Got it.
so
San Francisco 49ers are going to lose so bad.
At least they're playing today.
you're forcing.
Bears are playing.
Your comment is the fact that you don't think Andy Reid will change anything, but giving his offensive situation right now, he has to. Right? You can't rely on Patrick Mahomes to be scrambling and making the plays, throwing out of the pocket, extending plays. You're gonna have to rely on
throwing out of the pocket.
You're gonna have to rely on your ground game. You're gonna have to rely on mucking it up a little bit, working in more play action pass, using your receivers to get that 12-yard average, keep it up at that level to where that you're maximizing time of possession and minimizing time your defense is on the field. You're also going to play into your special teams to where you can actually play smart football instead of risking it like you would if you had a healthy Mahomes and a healthy Kelsey. So you're going to be flipping the field and battling field position and things like that.
I got a rebuttal for that, and I have actual proof that refutes everything you just said about Andy Reid changing, and that Mahomes is hurt. Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia when he got hurt, they didn't change. They did the same stuff. Try to get him the roll route, do all that, and that's why they got blasted in the championship game. He's done it multiple times. Even when Patrick Mahomes was slightly hurt, he was still doing the same stuff, dude. They go one-dimensional with just running or play at, whatever they do, they get stuff. If they do go to just running the ball, Cincinnati's going to see it, change it, and then they're going to try to go back to running outside, and they're just going to change right back again. I mean, it's going to be a back and forth. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Cincinnati wins by 6. But, again, Andy Reid doesn't change. As much as I love Andy Reid, he does not change. I mean, the dude's awesome. But he doesn't change. That's his downfall, man. It's his downfall.
When I was little, I put my hand on the stovetop and I burnt my finger. Did it again, burnt my finger again. Did it a couple more times, and I realized, oh my God, that's burning my finger. I need to stop.
Well,
Don't you learn from your past mistakes?
Yeah, but you did that like 4 times because you're from Hobart. And most people from Griffith only learn after 1 time. So, I mean, there's a difference.
With each figure, he was like, oh wow. Oh, wait.
My point being is that people learn from their mistakes.
Andy Reid does not.
You know what? It's funny that you bring that up with Andy Reid. Is one of the biggest concerns that I've been seeing in a lot of the predictions coming out from this game from the press is that everyone's questioning Andy Reid's clock management, and if it gets to a close game and he's got to manage a clock on a drive to, go for a victory, or they're like end of first half, trying to gain an advantage if they get the ball the second half. That's something that Andy Reid, if there is a flaw, and a lot of these writers are writing about that, saying if it gets in that situation, watch what Andy Reid's play calling. He may mismanage the clock. He may do that.
And he's not as bad as McCarthy, but he's close.
I was going to say the good news is he did get his hands on McCarthy's final playbook, final play of the game. You know,
so. That was great.
Let's find the dumbest thing we can find in our playbook and run it. That's what that is.
I don't even know if that one was in the playbook. I think he was just like, "All right, guys, go do something."
Wait, we're talking Cowboys?
No, we're done talking Cowboys.
I was like,
George, which way did he go?
You suck, you jackass.
Yes, he does.
So, final thoughts on the game for myself is the fact that while I'm sitting here telling you Kansas City's going to win, I'm still thinking Cincinnati wins by at least 6.
So we all agree. All right.
So,
as far as final thoughts, first off, your analogy with the finger thing is absolutely horrifying. It really is. I'll tell you as well as burnt chickaroos, but if you can't necessarily understand where you're coming from as far as like Kansas City actually going to be pulling this out, I mean that's perfectly fine. However, Andy Reid will in fact have some sort of, I don't want to say magic, but he's going to have some sort of a variation of what he does. It's going to be just enough that I think that Kansas City, although I believe that Cincinnati will win, Kansas City very well may be able to pull it out. Even if it's by 3 points, it might be something that's going to be a nice little hook and ladder, Kelsey Schuster-Smith or whatever the case might be. Maybe toss to a running back. It doesn't matter.
Pulling out the snow globe again.
They're going to do something. Do the old Fumblerooski.
Now we're going to the Cowboys playbook or what?
Play ring around the posy in the huddle.
Yeah, that was the snow globe.
Oh.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Jerry, I'm sure your thoughts don't matter. Stout. Anything you want to add to this?
Bengals by 6, man. I don't
Right
see
on.
Kansas City pulling it off. I don't.
Brian, you got anything for us?
I just look at the last 3 matchups, and the margin of victory total is 9 points. That's how close this game's going to be again. I just think if there's a slight edge, I think the Bengals will have the slight edge just because of health reasons, in my opinion. So,
right on. Jerry, seriously, final thoughts on this game?
Chiefs haven't played anybody. Now they will. They're going to lose.
Very good. Let's go NFC. As soon as I hit the right.
All right, before we do anything, hold on. Can we invest in some spell check? So that
I saw it too. San Francisco.
I think
it is. I think it looked good.
It's actually 2 weeks in a row. That was a cut and paste job. But anyway. Who you guys got? Jerry's got the Niners. Stout, you got Eagles. Andy, who you got?
I got the Eagles in this one.
Brian?
I have the Eagles in this one.
I'll go Niners. We'll just all 5 of us go at it, I guess, and I'll team up with Jerry.
Ding, ding.
Welcome to
and that's our coverage for that. Let's go into some good talk here about the draft.
So the Bears have the number 1 draft.
Oh boy.
I thought we were serious.
Right on. Ben Cornett says Niners Bengals in the Super Bowl.
I agree.
From your mouth to God's ears.
So, if you look at Philadelphia's injury report, you have like the entire team on there. They're all unspecified, which is kind of interesting. Pulling the old New England Patriots thing. But I think you have a couple of good things going for Philadelphia. First off, you have enough film on Purdy now that you're going to be able to actually scheme accordingly. You do have, like, what, the number 2 defense or something like that?
Why is there a scheme?
Exactly. You key in on one person. You give Purdy the old happy pee from getting hit. And I think Philadelphia is going to be pretty much feasting on a whole bunch of possible turnovers, interceptions, that kind of thing. And look, you got Stephon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox. Some of the guys, of course, are still on the possible injury list. You got all these guys that are going to have an opportunity to be able to actually do some good things against Purdy now that they have enough film, and I think Philadelphia is going to pull it out big time by 60, 70. Who knows?
So you're going to throw the Philadelphia Eagles leading sack defense against a team that's getting rid of the ball faster than pretty much any team in the league right now.
Yes.
Purdy is 7-0 since taking over. 16 TDs, 4 interceptions, a 107.3 QBR.
That's it? For 107.6, I would be impressed.
Christian McCaffrey, since the trade, not all season. This is since the trade. 746 rushing yards, 4.64 yards a carry, 10 TDs since the trade.
Where was he the rest of the year?
He was on the Panthers.
Exactly. So you have that defense going, and you're absolutely right. You have an offensive line that can, in fact, protect the quarterback long enough to be able to throw that ball. Usually in your out route, you got Christian McCaffrey. Cool. But you also have a defense that can actually, because if you're talking about who hasn't played who, things like that, I think you have a very aggressive defense. You have a very aggressive defense versus an offense that it's probably, definitely on the plus side of mediocre. You stop 2 players, that's it for your offense.
You have a great defensive line that has all these stats, who has played against the NFC East, who we've seen in the playoffs so far, doesn't belong.
The best division in football.
Woo! Then they played against the NFC North, who we know how that went this year. And they've got some weak AFC teams that they went and played against.
And your schedule's any better?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They played the Bucs.
The Eagles lost to the Cowboys.
That dropped.
Argument done. The Eagles lost to the Cowboys.
And you didn't lose any in division games this year? You guys won every single one.
Yes, we did.
You're looking at 2 offensive weapons, you say. The Niners have 2 Swiss Army knives. You don't know what they're doing when you have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel on the field.
I know what they do, how they get the ball out really quick. You want me to explain to you how they get the ball out really quick? They line up in the same thing they do all year, and Kittle's covered, and he runs out and catches a pass when he's not supposed to. That's how they keep winning all the games. They've run this same play at least 4 times every game. 4 times. It's an illegal play. They keep running it every time. They run it all the time. I went back and looked. They run it all the time. And he's covered up. He can't go out for a pass. Am I lying? No, go look. They do it every single game, and it's a legal play. That's how they get away with it.
So you're saying the entire NFL has missed?
Yeah, they have. Go look at it. You can go look. We all know. We see it.
On that play continuously. That was a makeshift play where Kittle
they
was
run it every game, dude.
Went out for a route.
They went out every game.
Jesus.
They run there again. Went back and looked.
You know what else happens every game? Dak Prescott throws an interception.
It was 2 last time, not just 1. It was 2. Just so you know. But I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about how the Eagles are going to beat the Niners. Because they got to travel from the West Coast where it's nice and warm. 2, and then they got to travel all the way east.
It's going to be
where it's nice and cold, and they're exactly. Purdy's going to throw the ball, and the ball's going to bounce off their hands. And the Eagles' secondary is really good.
It's
So
going to
good
be
luck with
40-something degrees at game time, so the weather's not going to be a factor. It was just
46
40-something degrees in San Francisco.
46
raining.
degrees and rain.
Yeah, that's exactly
what they're saying at game time.
That's exactly what it was in San Francisco 2 weeks ago.
Just wait. You just watch.
Brock Purdy doesn't know to be nervous. Doesn't know to be, not that he's or to have the jitters because he's too young.
It's not
he's
even
too
that.
inexperienced. He's playing with house money.
He's not too inexperienced. The guy started 4 years at a Division I school and had no athletes on the field to help him, like a Jalen Hurts did through college or a Trevor Lawrence did through college, where they have a superstar team around him. The guy had to make the plays himself. And so if you go back and look at his highlights, you see – oh, my God. You see these plays where he goes and scrambles and it looks like he's running for his life and, oh, my gosh, he doesn't know what he's doing and he's going to make a mistake. You go back and look in college, he did that every game.
Well, I'm not saying that he doesn't have football experience, but my point is that he doesn't have he doesn't know he's in a big game because every game he goes into is a big game because he's playing with house money. He's not supposed to be in this position right now. He's supposed to be Kyle Trask.
And he doesn't have to play phenomenal. Everybody thinks that he has to go out there and be the superstar and everything. He doesn't.
I didn't say that. But here's the funny part. Now Jerry's bringing up all the stuff he did in college. You brought up all the stuff he did in college and all this other stuff. But when the draft, we talked about after the draft, you're like, yeah, whatever, and like don't give a crap. But now all of a sudden he's playing. Let's just talk about how really good he is. But that's a different story now that he's playing and all that other stuff. Hey, good job to flip flop on that.
Who put these two on opposite sides? This was the worst decision.
That was your decision. Yours, and you knew exactly what you were getting.
Stupid.
Why couldn't you guys talk like this last week? Oh, that's right. Jerry was too scared to come on.
I was sick.
He's always sick. It's 2 years in a row. He's sick around the playoffs until the Niners get
no, I believe.
And then here we go.
Last year I was on the show to tell you that the Cowboys were going to get stomped, and they did.
And I told you they would. I said they would lose. Just
no,
like
last
I said
year you were. Last year you were driving
what I said this year, they were going to lose. They lost. I knew it.
So. They've been putting the penalty box. But so like I was saying, San Francisco's offense is more than just two people. They've got two utility knives that pretty much leaves your defense clueless because you don't know what they're going to do, especially if they're both in at the same time. Right? I mean, is that a fair statement? They both are good receiving backs.
It's obviously going to one of two people. You cover those two people.
Brandon Ayuk has 1,015 yards receiving.
I was just about ready to say you cannot forget about Ayuk.
Can't forget about Kittle.
I was going to say Kittle's got 11 touchdowns this year.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you had 12, I'd be impressed. If you had 1,000,
Andy, I'd be surprised if you changed your underwear 11 times this month. I mean, Kittle's got 11 touchdowns this year.
Why that many? I didn't say it. You just turned it out.
I mean, Kittle's taken off from the end of the season till now, and there's a reason for that because he's always covered up and he goes out for a pass. That's why he's doing it for.
But let's get back to the other thing. Hold on, you're looking at three tops.
And he's like, I put my underwear on Monday and I changed them next Monday. I still changed them for Tuesday.
Every Saturday,
he has a label for each day. He has a Monday through Friday pair.
Weekends he skips. Not leaving the house, not putting them on.
Just turn them inside out. You'll be all right.
January is Monday. February is Tuesday.
Good God.
I'm just kidding. I don't wear them.
But for real, you've got Brandon Ayuk with over 1,000 yards receiving. Kittle's got 11 touchdowns. I mean, Purdy 7-0 as a starter. Mr. Irrelevant. Playing with house money. He's earned a contract next year. He's going to get paid whether he wins or not. He's not going to get paid this astronomical Deshaun Watson sitting in massage parlor money, but he's going to make money this year just based off his performance so far. So he has nothing to prove. All he can do is get better and make more money.
Nah.
I mean,
Philly's gonna give him a little what for. So yeah, no, he's gonna be 7-1 after today.
You're not gonna talk about. I mean, look how well Jalen Hurts has played all year, just all year. I mean, he got injured, but he's played all year long. And I actually hate to say it, but I mean, when they win this game, I think Hurts wins the league MVP. To be honest with you. So I mean, you can't take away what the Eagles have done all year, dude. They're playing that. I can't even always forget what his name is for the Eagles head coach, but he's got them so fired up that I haven't seen that in a long time in Philadelphia, and that's a lot of it with Philadelphia. The way they're playing is because of their head coach, and
good point.
They haven't. They've shown weaknesses, yeah, but I mean, when Hurts got hurt, you thought, oh, the season's over. They're going to drop every single game, and they did. So their defense is, number 2, and their offense is like top 5, I think, when Hurts was playing. So it's going to be a good football game. Do I think it's going to be a shootout? No. I think the Eagles are going to be taking this and winning it by 4 is what I think is going to happen.
So if they fell apart because Jalen Hurts got hurt, isn't that your key on defense?
No, they didn't fall apart. Their defense kept them in the games. Their offense struggled a little bit. They won games when Hurts was out, is my point. They won. They came together. Yeah, okay. So
I mean, you're the leading candidate on the show who says how horrible the Cowboys are.
Yeah, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while too. So McCarthy got lucky. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, the Cowboys got lucky.
Are we throwing other tropes out there? Oh, broken watch is right.
Yeah. Hey, shut up! You're on my team, you moron. Quit! Stop it.
If you
Brian, you can chime in at any time.
I know. I'm kind of enjoying this.
You made the wrong monitor. He's gonna sit back and watch this whole time. It's like a car fire. He's just gonna keep watching it. He's not gonna stop it.
With his popcorn. But if you want to talk about quarterback comparisons, you got Jalen Hurts with 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, over 3,700 yards, with a rating of 101.55. So you
101.
101.5.
Wow, that sounds like a anyway. But
he has a handful more touchdowns by playing the whole year.
But think about it like this: you want to go like this, okay? What happens if Purdy goes down? Let's say he's getting a little bit of a bump and a bruise, and next thing you know, he's on the sideline. What's going to happen to San Francisco then?
They're going to run the ball just like they do when Purdy's in.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Players.
Is the offensive scheme
a genius?
Go ahead.
It becomes
the offensive scheme in San Francisco sets up the pass through the run. It's flawless. It's worked all year. You went from having a glass Joe in the pocket to, what was his name? Trey Lance in the pocket for 2 weeks? It's Jimmy G again to Brock Purdy, and you think the formula is wrong? They're winning with Jimmy G. They're winning with Brock Purdy. There's something right there. Josh Jacobs brings you a whole new offensive element because he's fleet of foot. He's been in the league a long time. He's not making money in this league because he doesn't know what he's doing.
So, okay. Well, again, you think about the idea of actually Purdy.
Josh Johnson, sorry.
You have to think about the idea of Purdy going down. You don't think that's going to become one-dimensional? I understand you think you have a capacity.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're saying that an offense that has all these tools around them so that the quarterback doesn't have to be the superstar, center of attention, and everything else. If that person comes out, you think the rest of the people aren't going to be able to perform? It's the exact opposite in Philly. If the quarterback is out, they've shown they can't perform.
Minshew mania, baby.
No, that's the exact same thing, because now you have somebody who's cold, who's actually not playing, who's got to have to play against a number 2 defense. Things that he might have seen in practice aren't going to be there during a real game.
And we're on number 3. We've done this already, and it's proven to not be a problem.
We're doing that again?
So,
Yeah.
Well, here's McCaffrey's going to get keyed on.
This is what's going to happen.
Going to get keyed on.
San Francisco looks good up until the championship game, and they're the new Packers of the NFC, where they can't win big and go into the Super Bowl. I'm going to use Jerry's own excuse, against them. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now. You guys bring up, they can run the ball and everything else. They're going up against the number 2 defense, and that head coach has got them fired up and got Eagles in the championship game. They haven't been there for a while. I mean, basically nobody from the NFC East has been there for a while. But he's got that team turned around. Yeah, go ahead and run the ball. And McCaffrey's going to get his yardage. That's how good of a quarterback he is in that offensive line in San Francisco. But it's not going to be – it's going to be a close game regardless of what happens. But Eagles pull this game out. Because something's going to happen in this game. I don't know what. But I just have a gut feeling the Eagles pull this out. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. And I actually picked San Francisco to get here to play against them.
All kidding aside, right? You're going against a defense in Philadelphia. I'm giving Philadelphia props here. You've got 70 sacks. You've got 4 players with more than 10 sacks. That's impressive. But again, you're going against an offense that doesn't hold the ball long behind center. It's in, it's out. It's in, it's out. It's in, it's out. It's not going to be one of those step back and pass games. Go ahead, Brian.
You know what? You actually are kind of going where I was what I've been thinking is that, okay, so yeah, it is the number 2 defense. You're looking at a team that has 76, but let's not forget too that they also led the league in interceptions with their secondary. So
which is generated by pressure.
Right. Dak Prescott twice.
So one more quick point about that. So he might not hold the ball very long. He might get it out. That's perfectly fine. But secondary, you're absolutely right. You might have a defense that is going to throw enough at him that you're going to have that 1 or 2 seconds, maybe even another full second or so, second and a half of time that's going to allow for that defense to actually get to him. I'm not saying San Francisco didn't have a chance. They absolutely do. There's a reason why they're here. However, you're in Philadelphia. You do have a Philadelphia team that's just all kinds of, I just have a feeling that, Purdy is it's going to be that kind of a day where your defense is actually going to be able to play a little bit better than your rookie quarterback. There's enough film. There's enough film.
2 things to look at for the game, and it'll dictate how the game is going to go early. If San Francisco can condense the formation and bring the defense in by bringing the receivers tight and everything else, and San Francisco can get the edge, it's going to be a long day for Philly fans because they give up almost 6 yards a carry to the edge. And we all know if San Francisco can get on the edge, it's going to get messy. The second thing is if San Francisco can counteract the fact that all of them defensive linemen are going to be coming in hot to get a sack, and with motion and pulling and everything else, trap those guys and get past them because they're rushing up the field so fast on a run. It's going to be a long day for Eagles fans because Kyle Shanahan will key on that and exploit it.
Okay, defensively though, Jerry, defensively, in my opinion, I think Fred Warner is going to be the key on the defense on your side because of this right here. Hurts rushed for 760 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's got to be the guy that keys on Hurts. If they let Hurts out of the pocket and he starts running, then you're not going to know what's going to be coming. They could be doing design runs with Hurts. I mean, it's just the same with what they were doing with Justin Fields. It's like design runs for the guy. Hurts could actually be the reason why they end up scoring a bunch of points in this game because knowing the defense.
I see him spying Hurts with either Fred Warner or they bring up Hufanga. They've done that in the past on mobile quarterbacks. They'll have Hufanga spy the quarterback because he's got the speed to chase him down wherever he goes. And as long as the D-line can hold contain, you force them to escape the pocket up the middle, I think you've got that under control. I know it's easier said than done, whatever. But
let me throw this out there real quick. To beat Jalen Hurts, you've got to go man. Unfortunately, when you play man coverage against a scrambling quarterback, he's going to get his yardage, right? Because your back's to the line of scrimmage. Everyone's bailing in coverage. If you beat someone like Bosa or Greenlaw or Warner, you're beat, right? Because you're in man coverage. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback over 200 attempts against the zone. So they're going to have to go man, right? That's going to leave them suspect to that big play that you're talking about, Brian. But I don't know if they're going to have that much time to develop plays like that. When you have a mobile quarterback running the ball, it takes time for that kind of play to develop. Am I wrong? Scrambling out of the pocket is usually a broken play. You're taking time off the clock. And when you're going against the Niners offense, that's going to be pounding the ball up the middle, trying to soften up that interior and that pop one big outside. You're going to eat a lot of clock, and that's where time of possession is going to come into factor here. And that's why I say it's going to be a good old-fashioned ground-and-pound football game, and you have the best playoff kicker in the league on your roster in San Francisco.
That is very true.
So what do you do with Nick Bosa? You switch it from side to side? You keep him on one particular side?
he switches all the time. And they
I
go
think the
3-1.
The key with stopping Bosa is how good Lane Johnson's going to be, and he's playing hurt. So,
you got 2 all-pro offensive linemen in Philadelphia. This is going to be the best line that Bosa's faced this year, I believe.
Yeah, but Kelsey doesn't really affect the outside rusher.
You're right. I'm just saying that allows you to double team outside. He does affect it because your guard can flex. Your center control his gap.
You've got to deal with Eric Armstead, who's been
I agree.
on fire lately.
Having a mobile quarterback, you would rather have the pressure come from up the middle and force him outside where he can roll and make plays. You don't want to keep a mobile quarterback inside the pocket.
No, absolutely.
So by facing an offensive line with Kelsey and Johnson, it's going to be the best line Bosa faces today.
Well, and speaking on Bosa, I mean, and I'm trying to be funny but not funny. After his brother decided to run his mouth about the refs, do you think they take it a little bit out on Nick and not give him some calls? I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, we've seen this to happen in the past. Not with brothers, but
he gets held on every play.
Even though he was right, I'm just saying, you call out the refs like that in the media with everybody, it don't look good. So that's just my thinking.
Kind of on that subject, did you guys remember the play towards the end of the Cowboys game when Eric Armstead just kind of ran into Prescott and came out and said, he's like, well, I didn't want to hit him too hard to get a penalty? How much of you guys think that
that's happened like 5 times this year?
Ruined the game.
That's happened 5 times this year.
Yeah.
At least.
Should have been absolutely destroyed.
It happened here in Indianapolis too. So, but I don't know. I'm going to finish with this of why the Eagles end up winning. And the Eagles are going to win by 4. I'm saying it now. They're going to win by 4. And the only reason they're going to win is because the greatest team that Jerry talks about, the San Francisco 49ers, barely beat the shitty-ass Cowboys. That's why the Eagles win.
Okay, the reason why the Niners win is because Stout thinks the Eagles will win.
No. All right. So seriously,
Eagles by 4.
Give us your closer.
Eagles by 4. They're going to be. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a ground and pound game, I think. And the Eagles Hurts is going to be the factor of this game for the Eagles.
All right.
So
Andy,
Eagles by 4.
We heard you.
I think because you have plenty of video on Purdy now, plenty of tape on Purdy, I think the defense is going to have something a little bit different for San Francisco. Eagles by a touchdown.
Brian.
Yeah, that Andy just said exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say at least by a touchdown. Eagles win.
Wow. I'll let Jerry close out his thoughts on this one. Again, I think it goes back to good old-fashioned football. The wheel hasn't been reinvented because of flawless design, and ground and pound football works because of flawless design. If you control the clock, you control field position, and you put the game into the best place kicker in the league's hands in playoffs, Niners win 24-21.
It would be foot, not hands, but okay.
Did I see? Oh, I see what you're doing there. Go ahead, Jerry.
Niners by 1,000.
Taking a page out of the Anderson Hanna playbook.
I've never said San Francisco by 1,000.
No. Oh, God.
Brian, you got any plays for us today? We're just going to end the show.
Just end the show already.
All righty. It was fun today, actually, listening to Jerry and Mike argue back and forth for a good solid hour.
Niners win so we can listen to Stout cry. Go Niners.